So economic decision of a business. So we need to learn what is meant by a business. So when it comes to business, we have a mind map on business. So I will just brief on the basic definition. It is also an economic activity which is related with continuous and regular production and distribution of goods and services to satisfy human needs and wants. Right? So you need to know all these points. What is meant by business? So the objectives, the characteristics, the different types of businesses, classification based on different categories, like sole proprietorship, partnership, companies, clubs, charities, government organizations, and also the business process, input, process, output of a business, right? So here, accounting is done for a business, right? So the economic decision is made not for a family, not for any other thing. It is for a business. Now we are moving to the most important part. By what? This is our process. So actually this is your complete grade 12 syllabus, right? The accounting process. So this process gives you, let me explain. Right. So this is the accounting process, right? So this process starts with transactions and events. Transactions and event. So already I discussed what is meant by a transaction, what is an event. Right? So the first step in a business is collecting, right? So let's say a person starts a business. The owner invests money and he starts the business. Then he will run the business, right? How does he run? He will rent out a place, he will do purchases, he buy the stock, inventories, and he will sell. He hire a person, then he need to pay salary. There will be electricity expense, water expense, telephone bill, communication, right? So that's how the business is operated. So once the business is operated, transactions and events will occur. Then the first step in a business is collecting the documents, collecting the source documents. So actually the source documents are proof for a transaction. Source documents are proof for transactions, right? So if you want to identify a transaction, definitely you need to have a proof. For an example, let's say you are purchasing something from a supermarket, right? So what is the proof? The bill. If you deposit money in the bank, what is the proof? Deposit slip. So likewise, for all the transactions, you need to have a proof. So we call it source document. So the accountant, the bookkeeper, or the person who is handling the accounts, his first task is collecting. We collect all the bills, receipts, vouchers, right? Debit notes, credit notes, we collect everything. Then we have to record. This is the second step. Recording. So where do you record? We record in prime entry books. So initial set of books. We have to record all these transactions in the initial set of books. So what are these initial set of books? There are 7 prime entry books. So you need to learn these 7 books. Cash book, especially the receipt and payment journal, petty cash journal, purchases journal, purchases return journal, sales journal, sales return journal, and the general journal. So you need to know the 7 important prime entry books, right? So that's your second step. Your third step is classifying. Now, once you record the transactions in the prime entry book, you have different books for different purposes. right? Then you classify. How do you classify? You use mainly 5 accounts, 5 types of accounts. So 5 types of accounts will be used, right? Assets, expenses, equity, income, liabilities. So how are we recording the transaction? How are we classifying the transactions in this ledger accounts? We use double entry system. So what is double entry system? Debit and credit, right? Asset and expenses, debit. Asset and expenses will have a debit balance. Equity, income, and liabilities will have a credit balance. Increase asset and expense, increase debit, decrease credit. Equity, income, liabilities, increase credit, decrease credit. So using the double entry system, we record the transactions, we post the transactions into the ledger accounts, right? Then your fourth step, we collected all the documents, we recorded in the prime entry books, then we posted into the T accounts, then we prepare a trial balance. It's a summary. We prepare a trial balance. It's a summary of all these accounts, right? So always your debit side should be equal to credit side in the trial balance because you are using the double entry principle, right? Every transaction that you record will have a debit entry and a credit entry. So therefore, if you debit one account, another account will be definitely credited. So debit should be equal to credit. Right? So you learn initially, this point is learned in the accounting equation. So it shows asset equals capital plus or the equity plus liabilities, or asset plus expenses equals equity plus income plus liabilities. So that is the accounting equation, and through that we uh, take the double entry system and we prepare the ledger accounts and trial balance. And finally, your last step is interpreting, presenting, interpret. How do you interpret? Using the financial statements. So using the financial statement, we show the financial performance of the business and the financial position of the business. Performance and the position of the business, right? So this is your accounting process. And in between this process, there are some other chapters, other areas that you need to look into. Right? One is already I told accounting equation, and you have bank reconciliation statement, which is another part of time entry books. And when you are posting the account transactions into the ledger accounts, you also have to learn the control accounts. Control accounts is another chapter in the syllabus, right? Then once you transfer to the ledger account, you have error corrections. So if there is any error in the accounts, you need to correct those errors. Then the accounting adjustments must be done after the trial balance before preparing the financial statements. So accounting adjustments, the inventory, debtors, right? The property, plant and equipment, the depreciation, disposal adjustment. Then we have the accrual adjustments, prepayment, payables, receivable, receiving advance, right? So we learn all these adjustments. Then the financial statements, income statement and statement of financial position of different types of organizations. We have sole proprietorship, partnership, companies, and non-profit organizations. And not only that, there is something called incomplete records. So if there is any incomplete records, that also we need to consider. Right? So other than these special two financial statements, we will learn the manufacturing accounts. Manufacturing accounts. Now let's look at our syllabus. Right. So this is our syllabus. Right. So let's look at how does it link with the accounting process. Now, if you look at the initial chapters, grade 12, the introduction to accounting, accounting elements, accounting process. This is basic introduction, right? The definition and some of the major areas. Accounting equation, yes. Once you learn the transactions and events, you will have to do the accounting equation. Then the double entry system, ledger accounts. Source documents, prime entry books, bank reconciliation, control accounts, error corrections. Right? Then you have accounting concept that also comes here. Some concepts. Because everything is based on these accounting concepts. So we will learn that. Accounting concepts. Then the adjustments, as I said, stock debtors, accruals, the PPE, right? Then preparation of financial statement for sole proprietorship. That's the end. Once you learn the financial statements, the format of income statement, statement of financial position, you have to do it for sole proprietorship and manufacturing accounts, non-profit organization, incomplete records, accounting for partnership, and the accounting standard also here, accounting adjustments and accounting standards. Accounting standards comes after the trial balance, before preparing the financial statements, right? Then the limited liability companies. So you can see up to chapter 12, is from this process, accounting process. We start from one by one. You learn one by one in depth, and we move to preparation of financial statements. So that's your syllabus. So it's not hard. If you look at overall picture, it's only one single transaction. One single question can be done in all these. I can explain everything through one question, right? I don't think I might have time to explain that, but I will just show you this example. I will do it in the next class. This example, a small basic example. If you all can, you all do it. I will share this question, right? You can show this in the accounting equation. And you can calculate the profit. Since most of you all have done the basic stuff, you should be able to do this. And you can prepare an equation for the profit. Net profit equals closing capital minus opening capital plus provisions minus additional capital. That equation we derive from this accounting equation. So in the same transactions, we can show in the ledger accounts. And the trial balance, income statement, and statement of financial position. So you can do all this entire process. Let me show one transaction. Right, so this is a question, the same question. We can complete the entire process, right? So finally, here the trial balance should be equal. Always the debit side should be equal to the credit side, trial balance. And your financial statements, the total asset will be always equals to total equity and liabilities. So not only that, even some other questions, you will find the same thing, right? So the entire process can be done through this if you understand the accounting process, you can do it. Right? So we were explaining the mind map. So accounting is a function. Now, when I read this, the picture should come to your mind because you have seen, and if you write it in a paper, this will be very clear, right? It's a function which provides financial information to various parties to take economic decisions of a business by collecting, recording, classifying, summarizing, and interpreting financial transactions. Already I explained what is a transaction and what is a financial. So financial transaction, a transaction includes a monetary term occurred in an accounting entity. So any business, if they have a separate entity, it can be a sole proprietorship, right? Accounting entity is considered separate and distinct from its owners. Owner and the business, two separate parties. So it can be a club, a sole proprietorship, a partnership, limited company, corporation, or any other business, right? Okay, so that's about the definition of accounting, right? Definition. But in the definition, you learn many areas. Right? And also, another important part under introduction is the accounting environment. So how does the environment affecting the business? How does an environment affecting the business? Right? I'm not going to explain the entire thing. Right? Uh, for any business organization, all these factors, all these environmental factors will be affected. Right? So the political, the government stability, government decisions, right? So everything will affect the policies that they make, the labor law, trade restrictions, and when you take economic factors like exchange rate, the interest, inflation, unemployment, this will affect the business. Let's say your business is importing. You import goods from China. Your raw material are imported from China, right? We knew that dollar went up to 200, almost 200, from around 170 to 200. Let's say you are importing $1 million worth of raw materials, $1 million. Now you have to pay a huge amount extra because of the exchange rate. So how are you going to cover up that additional cost? How are you going to cover up that additional cost? The only way is you need to increase the selling price. If you increase the selling price, what happens? If you increase the selling price, your demand will reduce, right? So you can't sell more your quantity. The quantity will reduce, sales will reduce. So that will affect again to your profit margin. So end of the day, you will end up with losses, right? And another important environmental factor is technological, the improvement, technological innovation, new uh, innovations in the world, research and development activities. So because of this, the entire world is changing, right? It's not like earlier. Now everything has come to the mobile phone, right? A lot of people are using the mobile applications to do many things, right? So the innovation has changed the culture, the way of thinking, the standard of living have been completely changed from the people, right? So if we are not changing with the uh, technology, we can't survive. So remember the survival. There is a quote, right? Survival of fittest. Always the fittest guys, fittest person will survive. Right? Fittest person means who can adapt to the change. This is in the animal world, this is in everywhere. Right? The fittest person will survive. Right? If you know uh, the background of the Nokia mobile phone, right? Here we can see one graph, right? So this, right, this one. So this red color, this blue color is the Nokia sales, smartphone sales, right? Millions of smartphone they ship. Right? In 2007, it's not very far. 2007, Nokia was far ahead of other mobile phones. Apple is here. This is Apple, right? So what has happened? In 2010, 2011, there is a drop. There is a huge drop. Why? Why does Nokia drop? Because everyone else moved to Android. Technological change, right? Symbian the software. So all other uh, smartphone suppliers, they moved to the new technology, but since they were the leading, they were number one, they didn't want to move to the new technology. Even though the number one company in the world, if they don't move on to the new technology, if they don't adapt, as I said, this will survival of the fittest. The other person will die. So Nokia is dead, right? They had to sell the entire company to another company. They sold the company actually to Microsoft. Microsoft bought it because they were bankrupted. Number one company in the world bankrupted because of not adapting to the technology. The same thing will adapt you and me. Why? Because now everything is moved. Technology has been changed completely. Right? Take the education industry. Now we can't go out, we can't go for classes, no physical movements, right? But whoever survive, whoever adapt to the change, whoever learn the new concepts, new things, they will survive, right? Others will die. So that's the nature of this uh, environmental factors, right? So we also need to adapt to new changes. Now there are a lot of advanced technology has been adapted in the educational industry as well, right? So you all can adapt it to that. Okay. So let me give one example. So I want your answers for that. Some of the products I have put since very limited time. I took only 1 hour, so I can't explain everything. I'm just taking here and there and giving the full maximum possible things, right? Okay. So tell me this change. So if you all can tell me what are the environmental factors, external factors affected this change. Now, if you go back to earlier years, like in 2010, 11, 12, until 2014, 15, most of the people had been using this bike, motorbike, right? No one was interested in buying a scooty. Like very rarely we saw 2010, 9, 11, nobody was interested. Now you go and see in the road, what is more? Even in your home, most of the people I know, you find more of this. What are the environmental factors which affected this change? Can you all tell me? You can text in the chat box. What are the factors affected the change from motorbike to scooter? Technology, what sort of technology? One is technological environment, economical environment. Economical, yes. Technology wise, this is much better. Right, full of uh, electric. You can charge your mobile phone. You can keep it spacious. You can keep a lot of things in the bike itself. Tell me some economical factors, economical, and also some democratical, social and cultural factors. What are the? Don't tell me the factor. Don't tell me the environment. Like let's say technological environment. I don't need technological environment. Why? Let's say for an example, uh, economical environment. So when it comes to economical environment, the cost of living is high. Cost of living. So when the cost of living is high, people can't afford a vehicle. So they have to buy a bike. And if you take cultural and social change environment, social and cultural. Now, who is very much interested and very much liking the scooty, especially the girls, women. Right? So now the girls, women are going out more. Women education, increase in women education, working crowd, but more women are working. So that affect this industry change. So it's a social cultural effect, right? Which affects the business. This business is affected by that. Right? More women is working now. They are educated. Women education is high. Then the inflation is high. Because of the inflation, the fuel is high. The exchange rate increases. Because of the exchange rate increase, the fuel expense is very high. So people can't afford. Cost of living is high. Due to that, they can't use a bike. They can't use a car. And let's say the current situation, if you take because of the COVID situation and the virus situation, we can't even travel in the public transport. So we need to buy something on our own to travel. So you don't have money to buy a vehicle, car. So you try something very simple and uh, economically benefited. So you go with the scooty. So let's say in a family you have boys and girls both, but you can't afford two vehicles. You can afford only one. So definitely you won't go for a bike. You will go for a motorbike because everyone can use it, right? So those are the uh, things that you need to understand, right? So I got many answers. Yes. Okay. So everyone has given very good answers. So okay. Right. So likewise, we will need to link the subject with the practical matters. Okay, so another thing to explain is now Now all the sessions, I'll just go through our Google class because that is also important for you all. All the chapters will be there in the Google Classroom. I will be creating a separate Google Classroom for you all. Right now, we already have some other schools. So for them also, we have separate uh, classrooms. So each chapter you will find the notes, right? The tunes are given to you. Initially, the first 3 tubes will be sent to you, right? So it has all these mind maps and the summary notes and the questions. There will be some assignments, also all the A-level past papers, and not only that, uh, some professional courses as well, because I know most of you all will definitely do some professional course after your O-level, after your A-levels, right? Definitely it could be, since you are a commerce student, it will be IPWAT, Chartered SEMA, ACCA or some other course. So we will link these courses, these professional subjects also into our syllabus. So it will be easy for you when you study further around. And also I link with some uh, chartered questions. CA means chartered accountancy papers. Not only that, we also link some SEMA, Chartered Institute of Management Accountancy, and ACCA as well. Right? So there will be more than 100 MCQs, and all these MCQs you can do it through online. So in this classroom, the notes will be there, the tunes will be there, and the lecture videos will be uploaded. Right, whatever I do online, it will be uploaded. Let's say you couldn't attend the session, you will have that lecture video here, and the MCQs will be uploaded. So all the MCQs session, the MCQs you can do it online. Right, it's just a basic thing. You can do it online, and when you submit, you can view the score. Right. So for all the chapters, we make the MCQs. Right. The past papers and everything will be separately given. So for each, for 16 chapters, you will have 16 topics with mind map, theory notes, MCQs, past paper, and other things. And another thing I want to tell before I conclude is, I did the timetable. So I just wanted to have an explanation, but no time. The past paper analysis. Right? So if possible, today itself, you have to do it. Now, what I'm going to, my main target is getting 3 A's. Right? Getting 3 A's is not difficult in A level. Right? You don't need to be, an expert, the most talented person to get 3A. I was not. Right? In my school, I was not the best student. Earlier I was below average, then I was an average student. I got 3 A's with 2.9 185 Z score, right? So I will guide you how to get this Z score. Now 3A is nothing. 3A's with 1.4 Z score is also there. That's why people say I got 3A but I couldn't go to university. 3A but 1.4 Z score. Not enough. You need to get 3A plus with 2.2 plus. That's the target. So how to achieve that target? It's very simple. Follow the steps. Follow the basics. Right? We follow the teacher's guide. Right? Whatever in the teacher's guide. And also we follow the past papers. Right? First thing that you can do is analyze the past papers. Right? This is what I did for my A level. I took a paper, I took an A4 sheet, and I analyzed question number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And this is second paper. So question number 1, what is the question? Right? So in 2019 it's company accounts, 2018 is company accounts, 17 company accounts. So you analyze. Then question number 2, you analyze everything. Question number 3. So likewise, first you need to have everything in one page. After that, once we complete one chapter, let's say now the first chapter we have completed. Assume that the introduction to accounting was completed. So all the past papers related to introduction to accounting should be done, completed. So you analyze something like this. This is I analyzed only for 10 years. So let's say it's non-profit organization. Once you complete the chapter, you have to do all these questions. You have to complete, right? So likewise, after the 6 months, you should be able to pick all the questions for last 20 years. All the questions for last 20 years. That's if you can do that, 3A plus is nothing, because most of the questions are, you see, it's very similar to the papers. Okay. Right. So do you all have any doubts? Any doubts, questions that you all want to ask? Because now the business studies lecturer will be doing the next session. We have taken only 1 hour for this. The online questions and all I will share. Yeah, we will do all 3 subjects, inshallah. Enrollment, we have spoken to the school. So my plan is we will connect to the school, and through school we will do it, because that will be much effective. Right? What we think is we want to increase our students' results. Now I have been dealing with a lot of universities in Sri Lanka. Right? I did my degree in Jawaharlal University. Right? I work with a lot of Muslim majlises in different universities. If you see the number of students, especially from Colombo, it's very low. Very, very low. Management, right? In recent batches, from out of 1,200 students, right, there were only 2 or 3. So that's not enough. It's not because of our students can't study. It's not that. They have not properly guided. Even with your basic knowledge, you can get through. See a lot of other areas, like Eastern or Jaffna or Batiklo or some goal, right? Marvin and Candy, Morelia. If you see the students, they are not that much, talented, but they work hard. They know what to do. They have been guided properly. But our community, we see not properly guided. But I want everyone, all of you, to work hard, follow what I say, and definitely we can get that. We can achieve that target. We have enough time. And don't think now, let's say last 1 year, you couldn't do anything because of this corona issue, and we couldn't have classes, we couldn't do anything. Forget about everything. Remember 2019 A level, 2000, a student who did O level in 2018, he completed his A level in 2019 with just 8 months. So a student who can do A level with 8 months and getting 3 A's, right? If he can do, definitely you can do it. Right? So we have enough time. So let's try to do as much maximum. Let me see. Yeah, we will try to provide the hard copies as well. Fruits. Yeah, so there was a question. Yes, we can do the complete syllabus in 6 months. That's our, because last time already we did. Now the presentation and the class Google Classroom I showed you, it's a 2020 A level we did in 3 months. With all the past papers and everything we did in 3 months. So it was very successful. Students were really happy. Like there were some of your school students as well, right? So we can do it. So I will ICT we will try. So I will coordinate with the principal madam, and she will update you about the program, and you can give your input. You can give the how the session, the program, and everything. If you all can communicate with the school, so I can continue the session, inshallah. Right, so our business studies lecturer is also here. He is Mr. Tony Amat. He's also my class batchmate in my university, and he has completed the degree in university. Meantime, he did another degree from APIT. So parallelly, he was completing 2 degrees. He's the senior manager, the brand manager and marketing manager for GSK, GlaxoSmithKline. That's, you know, the Panadol company. He's the one of the senior guy there, and also he has completed his master's in Postgraduate Institute of Management, the most difficult MBA in Sri Lanka. Right, so he will continue his session. So inshallah, the accounting, business studies, economics, also a very talented sir. So he will also continue. So I will conclude my session. Inshallah, Mr. Tony will continue the rest. Okay, so thank you, and give your input to the school management, so they will, I can discuss with them. Right, Jazakallah, and I'll see you soon. Take care. Assalamu alaikum. Over to you, Tony.
Yeah. So, give me a second. So, Assalamu alaikum, students, and good evening. I hope you can hear me as well as you can see myself as well, and also on the screen what I have projected, right? Okay, thank you. Thanks for confirming. I think, yes, you can see me. So thank you very much for the kind introduction, Srihan sir. So I welcome you to the Advanced Level Business Studies English Medium. And my name is Tony Imran Ahmed. And I will start giving a small self-introduction. I think Shihan already gave a small self-introduction, but I felt it's better I also give. So I have completed my Master of Business Administration. That means my MBA at Postgraduate Institute of Management, Colombo, which is one of the elite MBAs in the country, I would say. Very high professional and also one of the toughest, I would say. And I completed that. And also I did my bachelor's degree at University of Sri Jayewardenepura in management accountancy, specializing in. And the significant achievement for me was not just doing that, but also I completed a parallel business administration degree offered by Staffordshire University, UK, that was conducted by Appit Institute. So because after A-levels, I in fact did not have this dream of going to a government university, being very honest. I never wanted to end up in a government university because I have been hearing about government universities. I had this myth of like this ragging and like tough and the culture and strikes and take years to complete the degree. So whatever I was hearing was not that very positive or not very encouraging for me to go to a government university. So but later on, so because of that, immediately after the A-level, I completed my A-levels advanced level in commerce stream at that time. So I started pursuing my bachelor's degree at Appit in business administration. But after I entered Appit, I also got the university entrance at Japura, so I had to make a decision. But I made that decision to go to Japura and see and experience. In fact, which changed the whole career of my career, I would say. So if I had not gone to Japura University, my professional life would have, now what I am today is mainly because of that I pursued my degree at Japura as well as at Appit, I would say, because both have its pluses, I would say. So I did my parallel degrees and then I completed also my Chartered Institute of Marketing because though I am professionally in accountancy, qualified in accountancy, but actually when it comes to my work, I'm attached to the corporate sector, but my field of work is actually in commercial, I would say, sales and marketing. So I'm currently heading the marketing and commercial at GlaxoSmithKline, Sri Lanka, which is one of the British multinational companies in Sri Lanka. You must have heard sometimes GSK. But more than the name of the GSK, you must have heard the Panadol. Maybe you have been wondering where the Panadol is coming from, but it is coming from GSK. And you must have been wondering like products like Piriton and all this like Voltaren, or I would say like Viva, Horlicks, Sensodyne, those things also coming from GSK if you did not know. So I have 10 plus years of work experience in the corporate world. I joined GSK as a management trainee, and then from that onwards, I actually excelled in my career. So now I'm actually heading the marketing organization for GSK. So that's a brief introduction of myself. And looking, so I thought I will give, because I was also someone like you at some time ago, long ago, I would say, but not that long as well. But I was a student like you. Where I was doing my A-levels without any sort of ambition of getting to a government university. So,
Tani Christian name, Imran Muslim name, Ahmad Kaman Sinhala name. But he Muslim is.
I can hear you. If you can go on mute, students, I think I prefer if you guys can go on mute. So actually I'm Malay, yeah? So for your information. So that's why my name is a bit confusing if that was the case. So I'm Malay, but the religion is Islam, as you all know. So anyway, that's leaving aside of those. I think, so I was talking of like how my studies have been. So I did my schooling at BSNNI College, Colombo, 7. So I never had the ambition of going to a university, as I was telling, especially to a government university. To a government university, but later on I changed my mind because I got 3 A passes in university, A passes in school for advanced level, and also I was blessed to have a good Z score that was somewhere around 2.2 plus So I got a Z-score of 2.2 with a rank of 84th in the Colombo district. So which was, I also didn't actually expect that level of achievement for my advanced level actually. And also I did my advanced level in Sinhala medium, for your information. Then only I started doing all my studies in English medium. So I have been studying in Singlish medium. So that's other. So why I'm bringing these all things up, like everything is possible. I just want to create that positivity in you. Like everything is possible, not that nothing is impossible. If you have the will and if you have the courage to pursue what you want, definitely I think your dedication and commitment is what matters. So that's what I wanted to say. So take things very easily, and especially you are in the field of commerce, very, very practical subject. I would say accounting and business studies will be probably the most practical subject. Definitely you should end up with an A. There's no doubt about it, because getting an A for business studies is something the easiest, I would say, compared to other two subjects of like economics or even accountancy. But not that it's tough if you commit, but business studies is very practical, I would say, very hands-on experience. So I will take you through certain examples and how we can pursue this journey together and make it more fun, more engaging as well. Because business studies, you can't just read to yourself and kind of do everything on your own. It needs some reading, general knowledge, common sense, I would say. And because it's very straightforward. Sometimes if you know the definition of the word, definitely that's actually explains everything, especially. So something like that. So that's how my journey and how I did and how I was pursuing and how I ended up in university and where I ended up in wherever I am now. Okay. So if you have any questions, keep asking on the chat box. I will try to answer towards the latter part. So moving on, okay. So let's start something on the subject matter. So now if you look at the program schedule, or I would say like the chapters or the syllabus for advanced level, as you all know, like you have a grade 12 syllabus as well as grade 13 syllabus. So there are basically 2 years that you have to study, right? So in grade 12, you will have somewhere around 11 chapters. So here you can see all the 11 chapters, like starting from business, its environment, business, social responsibilities and ethics, business and government, types of business organization, then the entrepreneurship, SMEs, money and financial institutions, insurance, communication, logistics, and trade. So this are the 11 chapters that will be there for your grade 12 syllabus. When it comes to grade 13 syllabus, I would say there are few number of chapters. I would say management, operations management, marketing, finance, HR, information, and business plan. Clear? So this is how your syllabus look like. So when you look at it, I don't know what is your first impression about it. Already you know these chapters. But if I were to look at it, it's only 18 chapters. Very easy. And you have 2 years. You have had 2 years to do that. But if you have passed some of your years now already, nothing to worry. Because very, very simple chapters, actually. And also I used a method of more practical methods. Most of my sessions will be on slide and very, very sort of, I would say very easier to remember and resonates, and that will establish in your mind, and like easy to remember. And especially because, you know, like sometimes when you just read a book versus when you are hearing with a slide with some colorful images, it will get established a position in your mind. Because let's look at it from a practical perspective. Like now the moment if you see kind of a red color, and sometimes the moment you see red color with white color M letter, okay, sometimes something that might come to your mind is the McDonald's mostly. I don't have it here actually, but later on we'll be studying about this when it comes to franchise business. So the moment you, without even looking at or seeing the word McDonald's, sometimes looking at that clown itself, you will figure out it is a McDonald's, right? So imagine how powerful these images and these little elements and the colors, like when it comes to positioning. So that is how the marketeers use in order to position their brand, right? And sometimes certain jingles, like the music, when you hear, you know what the brand is going on in an advertisement. So likewise, even when it comes to subject matters, it will get easily positioned when you use these images, colors, and like various different new techniques. So that is what makes this business studies module more interesting for you. Clear? So so I will keep moving on to the next slide as well, and also give some brief introduction of the foundation of business, or the chapter 1, I would say. Again, now let's imagine why business is important for your life. What do you mean by business? That is very important. What is the definition of business? Is there a real definition, or is it something very practical word? Okay, so anyone, just think to yourself, like, what is meant by business and why it is important. So if you look at the word business, business actually wields an immense influence over your life or even your professional career, regardless of what activities you are engaged in. Now, as an example, you may be aspiring to be a manager in future, or you may be aspiring to lead an organization, or you may be aspiring means you want to be you want to be a we'll say accountant, a professional, or you want to be an economist, or you want to be a banker, I would say, or you maybe even want to be an entrepreneur. So what is meant by entrepreneur? Or do you want to be just a businessman? Then what is the difference between an entrepreneur and a businessman? And do you want to be a professional, like attached to the corporate world as I am? Then in which field you can pursue, whether you want to be a marketing manager, or you want to be HR manager, or operation manager, or a sales manager, or a accountant or finance manager, or if not, whatever you want to be, a legal officer, lawyer, still possible, because business studies is a subject that's a very practical subject. It is not a technical subject, and it has the flexibility to make and equip you to become what you want to be. That's simple as that. Okay, I have seen people who does business studies and ended up at IT. Flexibility is there, right? Because business is something inherent and fundamental need for you to understand the ways of working. Whether you are an IT manager, you still need project management skill. You still want to know management skill. If you want to run a business, or if you want to be an entrepreneur, you need to start up a business. Are you going to start a partnership, or a sole proprietor, or a private limited company? You should know all these things. These are practical things, not that you study today and forget about after 2 years, or after 1 year, or after you doing your exams next year. Not like that. So these are practical things. And if you want to register your business, where you should go to register your business, and what is the support you will be getting from government, and what are the financial institutions will support your business to get your investment capital. So these are the practical things you need to know, right? So for that, you need the understanding of business management, or I would say business studies. Clear? Clear? So any questions so far? I'm not sure whether there is any questions on the, no questions, but if you have, please keep asking. Okay, so I was talking of the foundation of business. So I will also go through. Now, if you look at the first chapter, as you could see here, what are the learning outcomes in this chapter 1? Okay, actually, I can complete this chapter 1 easily within maximum 2 hours, being very frank. Sometimes this takes days to complete, I know, but with practical experiences and with the slide decks, and sometimes through images that I'm going to use, you will be able to see that this is, in fact, if you study this for 2 hours, 3 hours, you should be in a better position. If you attend this within 2-3 hours, you should be able to study these and by heart or remember all these things. So that's the importance of that. Okay, so now let's look at what are the objectives of this whole chapter. What are the learning outcomes? So first we will be introducing the business concept. What is meant by business? What is a business? Then that definition of business will lead to the concept of needs and wants. Then you should know what is a need, what is a want, and what are the examples. And always no need to by heart per se, but if you know the examples, remember the example of a need versus a want example, then you should be able to explain everything, all questions related to needs and wants. So I will come to those points. Okay, now comparing the needs and wants. So that's what I said. Then when you are satisfying the needs and want, then the product, the concept of product comes into play. Okay, then product can be of two types, goods and services. Then what are the differences between goods and services? Then in order to fulfill these needs, you need to make this product available. Where it will be available, like the market. Then what is meant by the market? Then the characteristics of business with examples. What are the activities related to the business? And what are those business activities and the goals and the objectives of the business? And finally, what is the contribution of businesses for the existence of an economy? Why the businesses are very important to an economy, to a country, to you as individual, to the owner. If you are working for that business, what is the importance of these businesses? What contribution it will have? So these will be the learning outcomes. Very easy if you really look at. So you should be able to answer all these at the end of this session. That's simple as that. So that is why I start the session explaining the learning outcomes. Okay, so clear? So clear so far? So good to go. So I'll keep moving. Sorry for that. Okay. Yeah, so first of all, let's see what is a business. Okay, now let's see what is a business. So now in these images, now I'm going to make this a bit more engaging. Okay, so when business studies session, I know sometimes you may not be comfortable in unmuting yourself, but always in my class, I know sometimes if it is a short class, it's very difficult, but if it is a regular class, I also ask volunteers to this thing and open up and unmute yourself and answer, because that also one way to remember everything and build your confidence. That's very important in the field of business studies. And when you are pursuing your higher studies, or even if you're entering the corporate world, what matters is more than the technical expertise that you have, because everyone after doing A-level, getting a degree, knows everything about that subject matter. What makes you different is sometimes the practical experiences, practical skills, the soft skills that you possess. One of the key strength or skill that you all need to build is mainly the confidence, the self-confidence. Self-confidence is something not easy. Self-confidence is something like, if you are in a forum of like 500 people or 100 people, when you are one person seated in that audience, if you have a doubt from a lecturer, if you have the confidence to raise your hand and ask that, whether your audience will laugh at you or whether audience will make judgment about you, whether you don't know that you don't know about this, even it can be the stupidest question, but still what should be appreciated is your confidence. So that is very important, okay, in the business world. As an example, if you want to succeed in your corporate life, or even if you want to professional life, as I said, that confidence is what matters. So that's why I keep encouraging you to ask questions, clarify certain things, or answer. Okay, so now here in these images, you will find various things, right? Like now here you will find what? The spices, but nowadays some of these spices are not freely available, as you all know, like the turmeric, kahakudu, you won't be able to find, because you all ask your parents, so they all must be struggling to find this turmeric powder. which has been the case for the last few months, I would say. So it's very expensive, and also there is a shortage, I would say. So the spices, okay, these are spices. Is that a business? Yes, of course. And what is this? The cane, the various like the baskets or furnitures made of canes, and clay and pots, the carpets, the broomsticks. So these are like the small businesses, right? Here you can see on this side of the story, like all these are like small businesses. So this guy also does a business, right? This one, correct? Now look at on the other side. Okay, now on this side, what is this? You all use this. You all brush your teeth every day in the morning and afternoon. So you know toothpaste. You will have Signal, you will have Sensodyne, you will have Glowguard, multiple things. So here all the Unilever products you can see. Like then you bathe every day, right? So you have shampoos, Clear, Head and Shoulders, Dove, what else? Lux soap, all these things. And you drink tea every day. Laoji, Lipton, Ceylonta, all these things comes, right? And Lifebuoy, all these products. So are they doing a business? Yes. So on this corner, you can find Keel Super. Are they into business? Are they manufacturing? No. But still they are in a business, right? Keels produce their own goods? No. Right? So here, are they doing a business? Here. Now, there is no product. People are traveling. Or there are ships. Or there are containers on this side. So are they doing a business? What they are transporting? Are they transporting, traveling, shipping? So are they service? Is that a good? Right? So these things should come to your mind, right? These things will come to your mind. So clearly, all what you can see here is business. Business. So that is the fundamental word when it comes to business studies. So studying about these is all about business. So in that case, what is a business then? What is a business? So before I tell the subject topic, what is a business? So are these guys, by providing Lux, Unilever, Clear, shampoo, all these things, is Unilever trying to, Unilever is the company that produces this, if you didn't know, all these products, what I have highlighted here. So what they're trying to do by providing a toothpaste, by producing and selling a toothpaste, what they're trying to do, you are in need of brushing your teeth. You are in need of bathing. When you are bathing, washing your hands, these days you need to put soap and wash. So you need soap, right? So there's a need to wash your hand. Okay. And you have multiple options in order to wash your hands. You can use a soap, or you can use a liquid soap. And out of that also you can use Lifebuoy or Sunlight, or you can use Velvet, you can use Dettol, whatever. You have multiple options. Okay. But ultimately, all these products satisfy one of your needs, right? Washing or staying hygiene, right? And this guy, now there, a flight or airplane, what do they do? Not that you buy the airplane